When I started school, I was sick most of the time when I was 6 years old, and I didn't start until I was 7. And that way I didn't learn to pronouncing the words when you got to have a letter to announce what the word is. And I never couldn't do that. So they had me as a learning disability. But I went to school for up until the 7th grade, so I had a learning disability, but my mind was good to catch and do things. In arithmetic, I'd done pretty good in arithmetic, but my reading was no good. I had poison kidney infection then. I didn't think I was going to make it then. I drank milk and toast was what I eat. When we got on, as far as I know, we went all the way up around Greenland and come back in to England that way. And when they had a few of them ash cans went over on the side of us one time, thought it was a sub down, but see, we was on a big convoy then. Shucks, one day you could see the ship, see all the ships, and the next day you couldn't see the one behind you. Well, when they left England to go to France, we got on one of them ships, and we was out in that channel, and the fog coming out so thicker in the channel, and one of them landing craft boats come by us just like that. Damn, I can see that boat going. I can see it going by now. He was a big one. A damn wonder we didn't ram that joker. We had to stay out there on that 3 days on that channel before we could land someplace. And I was supposed to land it in Normandy. I know come down off the boat and the net to get in the boat to run you to the channel to run you in, and landed in France. I was a machine gunner, see, but I was in hedgerows then, and I said, "Want me to dig in?" He said, "No, there's a hole right there. If we get shelled, jump in it." And daylight come. I looked in the hole so damn well.
Oh.
No, then nothing. And we moved out that morning. I had to go across the road, and I was ammunition barrel in, and there was the machine gunner. I seen some Germans. They was running across the field running, and the machine gunner, he must have was shooting at him, I guess. And here come a burp like that right down across his gun, and I'm laying there too. But when that burp gun of that German, he must have been up in the tree, because I think the lieutenant got him. He made one burst across that gun. And I'll see that too. No, it's a lot of things you might want to see, you don't want to think about, but it's still there. From hedgerows, I went to Brest, and then to take Brest. Then was back from Brest, out of different places we'd go, until we went through St. Lo. That was kind of rough night. Oh. All them artillery shells busting up in the pine trees. And then from there on up to a place on the 6th Street line, and the next thing I know, the Battle of Wease was on the 16th, they say. Well, on the 17th that morning when I got there, I was captured. We had to walking and running trying to get back. And I never forget to come to the little crossroads before getting to a place called St. Vith, Germany. I think is what the name of the little town was where we had that. And from there, this general standing at the crossroads, go back and dig in, or something like that, tell you. And hell, then you could see soldiers running from the cross fields, getting away. Then that damn, I had my hands up like that, and that damn German shooting at me. I have seen a couple of bullets going by me, but he missed me. From then, we started back, and I think 4 of us was got a German prison. He was wounded or something, and we must have had him in a blanket, and we carried him back. And we got him back into the pot, through the field, down the road away, got into the woods. Man, them tanks was lined up like that. Them big German tanks were. And we want to buy them. We carried that boy back to a place. We left him by a house. The German told him, left him by a house. Then he took us to the barn, where was about 150 of us in a barn. They kept there. They must have kept us there for 3 or 4 days.
With nothing to eat?
Finally got a potato about the 3rd day, I'll tell you. But they told us if we burnt the barn down, they're going to shoot 50 of us. And I had some white phosphorus sprayed on my clothes, them shells busting all around us. One busted right in front of us and sprayed. I had a spot on my hand here. I wouldn't let the doctor take it off, and he took it off. Where I got burnt with that stuff. You can't put it out. Like when I was still in the barn, and one morning, in other words, you could stand in the door, you could see them. They brought horse wagons full of dead Germans back, right on the wagon, just like cordwood. But they come through one morning, picked a bunch of us, took us to a cemetery, and we had to dig a grave. But you didn't know whether that was your grave or somebody else's. And then after that, I guess they took us from that barn, put us in some boxcars, and took us on down the track someplace. I don't know where. Then they take you out of that and take and interview you. And you in them buildings, you done heard people talk about gassing you and stuff like that, and they turn around, give you a bath, or they sprayed you. They shot us one time.
And you were afraid that you were going to be gassed?
Yeah. You didn't know what was coming out of them holes there. Took us to a place called Stalag 4B at a British non-comp camp. There must have been 10 or 15, 20,000 there, Germans, Russians, and all the dominations of those reporting there. Put us back in the boxcars and took us for a ride again. I don't know where we was going. I still don't know. But when we got there, they were supposed to work, we were supposed to be on a detail to go to work in the sugar beet factory. So there was no sugar beet factory there. We got there because they done blowed it up. And took us out to, put us in boxcars again, hauled us on down the track someplace. We wound up in Dresden, Germany. And we worked in the steel mills there. I guess that was back in January when we was in there then. And they worked from January to February, March, some part of April, I guess. And they I cut pipe, the old, and I wonder damn well I ain't dead. Because the guy had me cutting a pipe, had a saw about the size of that. You'd have to cut cut pipe, and you cut pipe about that long, and old Jägermeister, he had it set on 5. I watched him go away. I set it back on 3. The next day, he put me on a blast furnace. Oh, I could put them pipe in there and get them red hot and pull them out and put them in a clamp and make thing. I like that because it could keep warm. He figured we have a cabbage and potato soup and some sugar beets. Maybe once in a while you see a stick of meat into it. There's some horse that they got rid of.
Right.
But anyhow, they fed us once every 24 hours. It was getting towards April, and into April, they took us away from there and put us in boxcars again, hauled us someplace, and it was down on the Elk River. They took us down to the river, put us on the barge, took us across. They give you a pick and shovel, and you had to load them little quarry cars, like in the mines. You had to load 3 of them a day, and you could quit. Then finally, I guess it come in May, we didn't do it. So they come in there one morning, took us out and started marching us on down the road. And just next thing I know, we didn't see no guards. We was just left alone. So I just, I walked on down the road, and then run into that night, and I guess a couple of us, 3 of us more or less together, we went in behind a building, lay down, went to sleep that night, and got up the next morning, tried to find us something to eat or stuff like that, and we come down out of the woods, and next thing I know, I was looking down the road, here come a tank. Damn, I thought it was an American tank. It was an American tank, but the Russians had them, see. There were 3 of us. We must have stayed in that house for about 2 days, I guess. Well, the first day we was looting around, finding one boy. He said, it was behind the house was a lot of rabbits in cages. I said, we'll have a rabbit afterward. Because I know how to clean the rabbit. This boy from New York, he knew how to put his britches on, much less clean a rabbit. And anyhow, we stayed there, and that evening he was looting. He said, I found where some chickens were. I think, you show me where it is, I'll get a chicken. So we went back over that just about dark, and I went in, the chickens had done gone to roost. I got my chicken, didn't even squawk at all. I was come all up here with the chicken I stole, and he was trying to get his. He must knock them all off the roost because the woman come out the house, holler, stealing my chickens. We was sitting eating our supper, and damn, a Russian officer busted in, and he was going to kill us. And we told him it was Americanos. And he had an interpreter with him, and he told him, he was going to kill us because we didn't salute him. Well, I didn't know who he was. Then we come into another town, and we were walking to it, trying to find where the Americans were. Well, anyhow, we got to the little town. It was full of Russians. And this one woman, German woman, was begged us to come in the house, come on in. So we went in there. That woman, she cooked for us, and we scrounged around, found stuff, and give her food and things like that. And it was on a Sunday. I was sitting at the table, and another boy, we might have been playing solitaire or something, and 3 Russians busted in the house. And we told them we were Americans. They'd go in there right on upstairs, and when they come out of upstairs, it was stripped, see. And they just like this room here. When they left it, there would be nothing in it. And anyhow, that Sunday morning, her daughter was coming, and I don't know where he was, but them jerks would have probably raped her and done whatever, killed her. Hell, I seen they shoot you. They shot one man right in the middle of the street because he run a shoe store. Yeah, they dropped where you. They're no different where they dropped you at. Fight over each other, steal bicycles from. One woman, this is true. She had a car. She was getting stuff out the house, put it in the car, and she had a child into it. They took the damn car and took off. She is still hollering for it. She didn't hard her wherever went. She probably never got it back. We had to leave the woman. She didn't want us to leave, but we had to get back where the Americans was. So we started. If we found a train that was going, we'd get on the train, ride the train. It stopped. We'd get off. Finally, we were walking. Finally, I found out what the Second Infantry was, and I wound up in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, at an airfield where the Second Infantry Division was in the area. See, but I never did get to go back to my company or nothing like that. And they loaded us. One day they loaded a bunch of us from a couple of airplanes and flew us back to France, to a place I guess they called it Camp Lucky Strike or something like that. They had a name for all of them. And I guess I stayed there and got new clothes and everything. Next thing I know, they sent us down to a ship and sent us home. They discharged us out there, give you money to go home. You couldn't catch a train, you couldn't catch a plane, you couldn't catch a boat. So three of us started doing this. And we got over to Oakland, got over to there. We couldn't get a bus out of there or a train, either one. So we hitchhiked. We got on. Some guy picked us up. He says there were three of us. He had a car. He says he was going to Oregon. I don't know how he got his car or anything, but he said I'll take you as far as till I turn. And he took us for a long ways, and he said, here as far as I'm going north, and you're all going this way. But if you want to go to Oregon with us, you can go along. But we got out. Damn, winter time. It's cold up there, and we stood there. We must have found an old tar or something. We sat there and tar on fire to get warm, and finally another guy come by, a tanker truck come by. He said, I can haul two of you, but I can't get three of you. He said, if you got three of us and two in, we're going to get the other one. And he took us, I don't know how far before he took us. And he said, as far as I'm going, and I think it was if I'm mistaken, that was in Salt Lake City, Utah. But I'd been home about a week. He said, son, it's about time you go and find a job. I found a job and started caught to work, and worked on the outside with a guy. He worked by himself building houses. Then that way I could learn everything. I learned how to lay out and everything. I mean, so I worked with him for about 2 years, and he run out of work. So I went to Fort Belvoir. They was hiring some men to do roofing work. So I got a job as a roofer I got married in 48.
48.
Yeah. The first child was born in 50 in March. And I worked at Fort Belvoir for 28 and a half years in that one building. So I pretty well learned everything, and anybody who wanted something said, come see Freddie. My wife got she got sick and come down with old timers. Boy, I could tell you some tales that happens to people. It's happened. But anyhow, she got real sick, and I got her up and took her to the bathroom on a Sunday morning, and put her back to bed, and walked up and called the rescue squad to come get her, take her to the hospital. Got her in the hospital, and they only want to keep you in there 3 days, so they had to find a nursing home for it then. But finally, I got her here, and she stayed here 18 months, and I've started, Miss Bedina wanted me to volunteer, because I come in and fed her and took care of everything. So when she passed away, she wanted me to volunteer, and I started volunteering. I worked in the garden program. I come every time, get set up for the shows that they had. And yeah, I used to hunt some. I killed a few deer, a few squirrels, a couple rabbits back in them days. Yeah, I fished too. And then go down the bay and catch them rockfish and blues. I went to Canada fishing a couple times. You know, you can get stuck sometimes, and you think you're doing something right, and you wind up just saying, I wish I'd never done this. I got 20-some in there already put together, done put together sometimes twice, and I'm working on now one that I done put together twice, second time.
And when you were at home, what did you put them together, and what did you do with them?
Put them in frames and fix them. I had about 50-some in the basement when I left here. I had one, it was 3,000 pieces in it. I like to be outside too. Shucks. At home I sit outside till it got dark out on the front porch. I just like to get outside. I mean, I guess that's the reason why I was a hunter. I want to be in the woods.